Coming up this week on the OK Bloomer podcast.
You sisters. It's like his catchphrase, isn't it?
Whose catchphrase?
Junior.
Yeah, okay, wow. You really tapped the goldfish glass there for a second. I was like, what just happened? Good callback. You were a big fan of Sopranos, weren't you?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I never really
you lived
liked
it, right? Italian.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
of course.
It was like watching your family.
It was a documentary about my
It
family.
was like the Accardo. It's like someone put cameras in the Accardo house. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
You piece of all right.
Don't know about the future. Don't.
They don't care about the future, because they live it in the past. Sal and Curtis are taking all 5 seasons of Blossom to task. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be weak in the knees. This show's got more range than this on the keys. Only gal in the house, and that's how she goes. One brother was a junkie, and the other one was. Weekly lessons coming fast in the Russo flat. Blossom's teenage girl problems are as big as her hat. So take your opinionations and make them shine. It's the OK Bloomer podcast, and it's about damn time.
Don't know. Don't know.
It's the OK Bloomer podcast here on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network. I'm Curtis Anderson. That handsome man is Sal Accardo. We are plugging away through every episode of the 90s sitcom Blossom. We're doing deep dives. We're looking for cameos. We're looking for moral lessons that may have been lost over time. We're seeing what it was like through the eyes of a teenage girl in the Russo house back in the 90s. And shout out to all the viewers. This thing is it's doing well. Doing great for an excuse to hang out with my good buddy Sal. It's turned into something that apparently a lot of people enjoy. So thank you for that.
Yeah, this is great, man. We're back. Not canceled yet. Can you get canceled off YouTube?
I don't know. I just don't want things to reflect poorly on the Dufferin Avenue Media Network and Gary Nickel and all the good,
of course not.
The good things that are happening here.
Not.
But I think he would be the first person to be like,
shout out to them for hooking this up and bringing it back. Yeah.
Say whatever you want. Gary's not one for censorship, so he likes to let stuff fly, and we try to keep it PG-14. We don't really go to. Maybe today. Maybe
censor your swears.
Yes, we do censor our swears in post.
We do that.
But honestly, sometimes a beep is funnier than the F word, I find.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And we might be canceled after your joke or whatever you said about in the last one, but we'll see if that even makes the cut.
Out, so
this episode may not even be uploaded. We'll see.
I was not making fun of. I was pointing out that if they're watching it there, the culture is so different that they are probably looking at they're finding humor in things that in like Western culture. You know what I mean? Like the plights Blossom and Six have in the day-to-day is not the plights of the teenage girls in.
Good save, bro. Good save.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we?
So my jokes were worth the risk.
How about some description?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Get me out of here.
Thanks, Phenom. Thanks for the save.
Season 3, Episode 7, Only When I Laugh. Directed by Bill Bixby, written by Bill Richmond. First aired on October 5th, 1992, to 20.8 million viewers. Disney Plus says a bouncer blocks Blossom and Six's scheme to get into a nightclub. IMDb says Blossom and Six get fake IDs so that they can attend a friend's nightclub performance. Feeling bad for a comedian that dies in his ambulance, Anthony decides to use the family home to host his funeral. And TV Database says Blossom and Six try to get fake IDs to get into a club. Anthony loses his first patient, an old comedian who left him laughing in the ambulance and wants to have the funeral at the house.
Lots of guest stars in this one, and I didn't track any of them, Sal.
I did and I didn't. So
I feel like...
We'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah, but I feel like they found out some mutual friends were available and wrote the episode around that.
It kind of feels like it,
Yeah.
to be honest. It kind of really feels like it.
So only when I laugh. We start out, and I swear Joey is wearing the same outfit for like the 7th episode in a row.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
wants to
It's
learn
like the
piano, and Nick is like, "Oh, it's tough work." Shut up, Nick. You do so little. Don't try to like, "Oh yeah, man. Oh, it's tough being a musician."
Well, I also took note that I was like, this is really weird. The man is allegedly a professional pianist, and he's never taught any of his children how to play.
Yeah. Why doesn't
Like
he
that-
teach anyone to play?
Yeah, that
Makes some
makes
extra
no sense
cash.
at all. Yeah.
God, he sucks. You know where his mind's at. We've documented that. So Nick plays row, row, row your boat with like one finger.
Yeah.
And
And Joey gives a whoa here.
Yeah,
He goes,
right off
"Whoa,
the bat."
I don't know if I can play that.
And
And
then
then
he
he
does.
plays it, and he does it pretty well. And then Nick
tries
starts
to
adding
stump
in,
him because now Nick's like all on the offense.
Yeah. Is it chords? Is that what it's called? He like starts adding like
Yeah.
yeah. And then the crowd starts going nuts here for some reason.
So Joey
And
can
then-
pull this off, and immediately Nick tries to take credit for it. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I must have passed down some of my my musical genes to you. This is about
Yeah.
me because being
Yeah.
a musician's my thing, and that's all I have."
Right. And Joey goes, "Nah, I got it from you, buddy," which was a pretty funny joke. And then yeah, so Nick steps it up one more time, and then Joey plays it perfectly, and Nick can't believe it.
So what is happening, Sal?
Yeah, and he calls him an idiot savant.
I said, I can't
then
wait to never talk about this again on the show.
And then Joey says he wants groupies, and Nick's like, "Well, you're years away from that." And then Joey quits, and that's the end of the cold open.
Yeah.
He's like, no groupies, I'm out.
Which is funny because like that's the whole reason he is a musician, like Nick,
Yeah, exactly.
so he can have groupies. That's like the whole
Yeah.
arc of his character. It confusing, wasn't? Yeah, it was what it was.
Agreed.
A lot of times the cold opens are just like these crazy. I don't even know if they actually like happened in like the real world of the Russo house. They're just these disconnected like 90-second scenes that they never talk about again.
Yeah.
However,
sometimes they tie in, and sometimes they tie in, and sometimes they don't.
I would say most of the time they don't.
Right.
But anyway,
But
Yeah.
that's not what this is.
no, they go back to it. Thank God. We Corel draw and sax into the intro. Or no, it was yeah, that was the cold open. It asks if I want to
Yeah.
skip the intro. I do not. It's gonna be better when we add the like.
Wow,
group,
that crowd was so loud there, man.
right? If it happened, amazing. If it didn't, it probably won't happen because I don't think we have another. Phenom's idea was next time we tape the music show, I'll get the crowd to yell, "I do not," and add it in. But one day it'll just be there, and I won't know. We will not have responded
get-
like we should have for the first time.
Can we just get AI to do it now? Like,
Probably.
can you just like type it into
You
AI?
could probably just
and-
get AI to do this. We don't even have to show up anymore.
Oh, that...
Blossom
Okay.
and Six have an argument and are in a bit of a conundrum.
That's every episode. Are you past the intro?
Yep.
Okay. So
Nick
Corel draw.
overcomes an obstacle this week on Blossom. All right. Blossom thinks of cheating on Vinny.
Yeah, but okay. Before we get to that, the Corel draw thing that starts off the episode. Some episodes have title cards, and some of them don't. This one
Yep.
did not. So there's no consistency there. But yeah, basically that's how the episode starts. Like right away, it's Blossom's thinking of cheating on Vinny. I'm like, what is happening here?
Six comes in hot, and I ask, are we officially half done this yet, this series? Because once again, Six in the stupid hat, Blossom, no hat.
Yep, took note of
And
that
like,
as
we're
well.
literally like half done, aren't we? Like there's
I
like
don't think so.
120 episodes ish.
114,
Okay, and we're what?
Yeah.
40.
44.
So we're getting there. We're getting there, but we still have not established that Blossom is the hat girl. It's been Six 90% of the time.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I took note of that as well. So she comes in saying that she has horrible news, but then is instantly distracted that Blossom's redecorated her room. And I noticed that as well. Her room's like completely different now. It's like painted a different color. There's
Really?
like different furniture and stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
Blossom
Whole house
keeps-
had a garage sale.
yeah. Blossom keeps pressing for the news. Six keeps getting distracted. The horrible news is that they have to be 18 to get into the club that Jimmy is playing at. And then, so that's where we're at this week. Blossom asks Joey to keep a secret, and he says he's really good at it. When Tony was 16, he kept a girl named Tiffany in his closet, and she spent the night.
Huh.
Why don't you, yeah.
That's a switch.
You sit on that one for a while?
It's usually Tony in the closet. Okay,
God.
that one hit. Getting judged for my other jokes before, but hey, that's all good. It's fine. I'm keeping track.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
A couple of Bills are in charge of this one. Richmond wrote it, and Bixby directed it. 2 Bills.
The 2
Yep.
Bills.
Girls, they're going to make fake IDs, Sal.
Yeah.
And then Joey
And,
goes, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Joey goes, fake IDs, you two, you're such losers. If you entered a loser contest, you'd only come in second because you're such losers. And that was such a 90s burn. Like that is peak
Right?
90s burn. And the crowd goes nuts that Joey got that out. Because they're such losers they can't even get first place in the loser competition.
Yeah. Great joke. So yeah, Blossom is talking about cheating on Vinny here, which is like, okay, whatever. I guess that's where we're at now.
I said I don't even know what the word cheating means in this context because those two have yet to be intimate.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
I don't know. It just Vinny. Every time we talk about him, the show just tanks.
It's true.
Like none of the writers have ever been in the same room when they've talked about this character.
No,
it's
it's
just like
all over the place.
Terrible.
It's all over the place. The good news is we don't see him. Six says to Blossom, it's not cheating if it's a rock star. She says, Axl Rose, not cheating. Harry Connick Jr., that's cheating. He's not really a rock star.
Is that Harry Connick Jr.?
Right? And then Slash, why would you want to? And then Michael Jackson, good luck, burn.
Is that because he's gay? Is that the joke?
I think that's what they were going for, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then they're walking down the stairs. You notice that it was like a different angle. It was actually like a weird camera angle of them like actually walking down the stairs. And then they're keeping going, like naming rock stars. And she says Eddie Van Halen, and Six says you can't cheat if you know their wife's first name.
I thought that really made me pause and think about it. I was like, that's a fun rule, a detail I've never thought of.
Was she referring to Valerie Bertinelli? Is that who she's talking about? Is that who he's married to at the time? Yeah.
Talked about failed sitcoms. I remember when Valerie had maybe Christine Taylor and Party Girl had more episodes than she did of Valerie. But there's a lot to digest. They're just throwing out rock stars that you should cheat with or not cheat with, and Axl Rose, yes, Slash, no. And I was like, I thought I was the only person that loved Axl but hated Slash, but apparently I was just ahead of my time. Or maybe before my time.
That was your takeaway?
I don't even know. It was weird. It was weird. And
it was a weird, sticking it to certain people and not to, I don't know. It's, I don't get these references.
It honestly almost felt like they just told the actresses, they're like, here's the idea. We're going to cut to you guys coming down the stairs, see what you could come up with.
Yeah, maybe.
And if that was if they made them memorize these lines and deliver it and take shots at all these people, that's kind of lame. But if this is what the two actresses came up with, good on them.
Yeah.
If you look at it through that lens, it was a pretty good scene. If you look at it like Don Rio is being Don Rio and had to write this dialogue to come after celebrities, it sucks. So
that was more my takeaway from that. I'm sure it was the second one.
I said I can't tell if this is great or bad.
Yeah.
Fascinating moment.
So yeah, Joey's leaving, and as he's leaving, he tells the girls, "Good luck with those fake IDs" in front of Tony. And Tony has a good looking back and forth reaction here, which is pretty funny.
Because Tony's such a wet towel, here comes the fun police.
Yeah, and then he's like, "No, don't worry, Tony. I'm keeping it a secret, like you and Tiffany." And then there was something about he brings back the idiot savant joke.
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, Dad thinks I'm an idiot savant." And he's like, "Well, you're half right."
Tony is like the 90s version of a born-again Christian today because he's always droopy dog, but, oh, you shouldn't do this. here's why. Back when I was a bad person, and then he like brags about something cool he got to do, but you shouldn't do it, you know. That's totally
Right,
what this character
right.
has turned into, you know. He spent like
Yeah, I
10
can
years
see that.
high and having fun and doing whatever he wants, but now he's a good person, and anytime anybody's going to do something a little risque, he's like, no, here's 2 10-minute stories about how much fun I had, but you shouldn't do it. Sucks.
Yeah.
Wet towel.
Yeah.
I said, can we just fast forward 10 minutes of the show to when they get their IDs and they go to the bar and Nick is part of the band and busts them playing with the.
I didn't even think about
playing
that,
with
but
the,
that would have been.
Yeah, that's not what happened
Yeah.
though.
No. So we get a Too Many Cooks Russo house. Blossom's in her room making fake IDs. She has a full kitchen table in her bedroom. Did you notice that? She's like sitting at this table. Yeah, she's like sitting at this table making the fake IDs, and then Six looks at it and says the only way she's getting in is if the bouncer is Stevie Wonder. And then she's still talking about cheating on Vinny. And then Six says,
Hold on.
all right, go for it.
I said they take a shot at Stevie Wonder. And I'm sure Stevie Wonder, watching Blossom at home, heard the burn, got mad, and flipped the area right beside his table. Because he's blind.
Yeah.
I was proud of that one. I'll
Yeah,
wait for you
yeah.
two to catch up. That's a funny
No,
joke.
I got it.
Because he tried to flip his table, Phenom,
Yeah.
and he missed. Because he's
I
blind.
got it,
Yeah,
I got it,
okay.
yeah.
He's
God.
Yeah.
Before that, though, real quick, this is for you, John Green. Anthony's wearing his EMT jacket, but I know you two are probably not as obsessed as the 1989 movie Batman as I was, but the Joker's henchman, Bob the Goon, was wearing a black jacket with the one round thing exactly like Anthony's jacket. And as a child, I passed on the Bob the Goon toy because it was so dumb. I just got Batman and Joker, and those were like two of my childhood favorite toys. And then years later, I was like, what a crappy toy, but I kind of want it. I kind of want Bob the Goon just to like complete the set. This is like as an adult. And there was a time he was going for insane money on eBay because nobody bought him because he was such a crappy toy. And then I ended up paying huge dollars for my Bob the Goon action figure when in like 1990, I would laugh at seeing it for like in the $2 bin at Toys R Us. I'm like, who wants that? That's my sad Bob the Goon story.
Missed opportunity.
And that's what.
And then
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. Then years later, Anthony ended up playing one of the Joker's goons.
Right? That's
in the Dark Knight.
Every week there's a connection.
Yeah.
He's still campaigning for his future role in the 2008 movie Dark Knight. Okay,
So-
Stevie Wonder joke. There we go. Pause for laughter. Pause for laughter. Pause for laughter. And we're back. Oh, did you? Never mind. Go. I'm just gonna delete this because the first one didn't land. So go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Six says they're gonna buy fake IDs from someone at school because she says someone at their school actually does it. Scum of the year, total sleazeball. And I thought they were gonna say Vinny, but they both look at each other and say David Slackmeyer. And then hard cut. Holy shit, it's former WCW champion David Arquette.
Literally what I wrote. Holy
I
shit. It's
I
Courtney
knew
Cox's husband. It's David Arquette. It's Ready to Rumble star David Arquette. It's Luke Perry's best friend, David Arquette, former WCW champion, David Arquette. It's the guy Nick Gage almost killed in a hardcore wrestling match, David Arquette. Have you seen the David Arquette documentary?
I have not.
It is
but,
so good, Sal. I made Phenom watch it a few years ago when it dropped on Netflix. It's really good. Like, actually.
Yeah, I want to see
He's
it.
sad. Like, he's very sympathetic. Like, it's fat. It's not what at all. You thought he's going to be like this jokey guy, and he's just this like lifelong wrestling fan who got to live out his dream, and it backfired on him because he's not allowed to like wrestling anymore because everyone hates him so much. And
Right.
it's like fascinating. Yeah, it was really. I did not think I would walk away with the emotions I did. I was like, this guy sucks. And you listen to him and he's like, he's so sad. He's like, I don't know why everyone hates me so much. And you're like, oh man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Highly
I
recommend.
gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's
All
really
right.
good.
All right. Good
And
to
then he
know.
goes running and when he's like in his like comeback mode, he starts running on the beach and they start playing Nookie by Limp Bizkit. That was my takeaway.
That's top notch right there.
Yeah,
That's top
worth
notch.
it. Okay.
So he's in the kitchen with a guy standing behind him holding a briefcase. And I was like, these dudes are both like 30 years old here. So he gets some fake IDs. They were born in 1968, which in 1992 makes them 24 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Their names are Louise and Selma Robinson. And I was
They
like,
don't
okay,
immediately make that joke, but I knew it was coming.
No, they don't. But then, yeah, they figured out that they're Selma and Louise. And then there's a joke here where she's like, oh, well, David thinks they can pass for 24. David thinks that Roe versus Wade are canoeing options. That's
but then
it's a great joke to end the scene on.
David Arquette's like, yeah, those names were Freddie's idea. Freddie thinks you're cute. And then both girls slowly look up at the bodyguard, and he has this really funny, like, kind of like coy smile, and it busted me up for real. I said, this episode is fun, Sal. I'm having a good time. And Blossom's wearing like a jersey, but I swear it had the Wendy's logo on it. I didn't know what that was.
I didn't catch that.
So Blossom makes up a fake backstory for her fake persona, and Six comes up with that. Her backstory is she's a gymnast and a nymphomaniac. To be fair, those two are usually hand in hand. So I mean, she knocked that one out of the park.
All right, the crossover there isn't that unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a hard cut to Tony driving in the ambulance, talking to a guy in the back.
I'm gonna let you do all this because I was like, they're making a big deal. They're treating this character with so much respect. So he's clearly something.
Yeah.
But first, we have Too Many Cooks ambulance. How amazing was that?
That was great.
That was like the highlight of the show. They had the ambulance going by. I was like, whoa! Look, you doubled their production
driving
budget.
Like this.
Yeah. I
Tony's
made
driving
note
like
of
this.
that too.
Yeah.
This guy sucks at his job. What kind of roads in Hollywood are there that you have to do that to keep it going straight? Like,
yeah.
Come on,
Well,
Anthony. You're never going to get that call for Dark Knight. Don't know how to pretend drive.
Yeah, so I didn't know if this guy was an actual comedian or what the deal was, but he makes a joke. He says his sister was a nun, but she quit once she found out what nun meant. And Tony and the audience loved this joke. Yeah. So Sid is a comedian, and he's just throwing out a bunch of one-liners. Tony's eating it up. I was like, this guy's doing like 10 minutes of material here.
Yeah.
And then he's...
Sorry, before you continue, I said it's Too Many Cooks. Anthony's driving the ambulance. Junior Soprano is dying in the back, and he's cracking wise. They do the nun joke, and it's funny because this guy's sister needs to let him know that she has to have sex in her life. That's the punchline. Funny joke.
The crowd loved it,
right?
The crowd loved it.
Because that's what you want to hear.
Junior
Thanks,
Soprano.
Sis. Thanks, sis.
Yes. Your sister's. It's like his catchphrase, isn't it?
Whose catchphrase?
Junior.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. You really tapped the goldfish glass there for a second. I was like, what just happened? Good callback. Good callback. You were a big fan of Sopranos, weren't you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I never
mean,
really
you lived
liked
it, right? Italian.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
like
of
course.
It was like watching your family.
It was a documentary about my family.
It was like the Accardo. It's like someone put cameras in the Accardo house. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool.
You piece of all right. So he finishes with the joke, what do you get when you cross a lion and a woodpecker? And then the old man dies.
Yeah.
And then we get Carell Draw.
The applause sign must have been bolded for this part because the crowd is getting prodded to like, this guy is a big deal.
Yeah.
You need to laugh extra hard at these jokes. Like, Don Rio's second kid is not going to college because they had to afford this guy for this scene.
Yeah, then we get a Carell draw on Tony giving the old man CPR. Yikes. So we come back. Tony's on the couch looking sad. Nick comes in.
First thing sad Tony again because it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, first thing he says is, who died? So
I will
Tony
say this is actually a pretty good scene between these two actors. Like, rare range for these two.
Right.
Yeah. Good chemistry.
Tony lost his first patient. And I said, that's pretty good. He's been an ambulance driver for like 2 years. So
yeah,
that's actually, not
really
that bad of a record.
Yeah.
Tony doesn't deal well.
This.
Yeah. How has he not killed anybody already doing that?
Right?
Yeah. So he killed Irish Sid Melville. His insurance covers everything except the funeral parlor. So Sid's literally all dressed up with nowhere to go. And then Nick's like, yeah, I don't like where this is going. He's like, yeah, that's because it's going here. So they're hosting the funeral at their house.
Then we get this may be the first episode ever where I want to give Anthony the acting award.
Wow.
Like, he was really good in this scene. I was very impressed. Yeah, I thought his delivery of "it's coming here" was like really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like good stuff. Good for you, Anthony.
Yeah, Nick was not having any of it. And then they do like that 3D camera flip.
Yep.
You know, to transition the scene. And there's
Kids
a casket.
fell off their couches back in 1992.
There's a casket in the middle of the living room.
Yep. They come downstairs. The gals come downstairs. And okay, Blossom, she's dressed like, is it Mary Jane in one of the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah.
In that, because I'm like, that looks so familiar. And
I know, she's dressed like a
this
geisha.
Weird, like, Chinese girl tight red dress that I can remember. Like, why is Mary Jane wearing that? But it really sticks out.
Yeah.
I think back to action figures. I think they made a toy of that actually. Her in
You're
that
probably
dress.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not worth as much as Bob the Goon, let me tell you, but a cool piece of history.
I can't imagine
nonetheless.
so.
I apparently collect a lot of movie memorabilia. Look at that. I didn't know that till today. We should talk about Dick Tracy and the Blank.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode in itself, I think.
One of the rarest action figures ever made, folks. Keep going.
Nick asks where they're going dressed like that. They say a costume party. She's dressed as Susie Wong, and Six is dressed as Paula Abdul.
Was that a racist joke?
I think it was.
Yeah, all right, see?
Yeah.
I'm off the hook.
Yeah, so Blossom tells Nick the truth about where they're going. Nick asks if Vinny knows that she's going to see another guy playing, and she's like, no, and he's like, all right, stay out till midnight. I don't care. So he's okay with her going out as long as it's not with Vinny.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's a dead body in the living room, so.
Yeah. Before they leave, Blossom decides to open the casket because she's never seen a dead body before.
And she's like making Six look at it.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, well, I think he's at peace. He's like where he always wanted to be. Six is like, in a box in your living room? And then Six decides to look at the body, and Blossom jumps out at her to scare her. That was the end of the scene. I don't know.
How is this family Italian and they never had a dead body in their house yet?
Whoa, am I doing the podcast with Don Rio? Jesus.
Another one got whacked. You forgot about it. I love that. I love
so
we always have that.
We get a Too Many Cooks. There's 3 men in the living room. One wanted to make sure that the guy was dead because he stole his act, and now that he's dead, he can use it again. And then they all just start riffing bits for like a good 5 minutes.
And Nick is losing it, and I don't know why, but it's working because I'm laughing because they keep cutting to Nick laughing, and I don't know what's happening and why. Yeah. The jokes aren't funny, but watching Nick lose his shit is funny. I can't explain it. And I said, I can't wait for you to tell me who these 4 famous people are and how deep in the pit they are, because they ain't never coming back.
Pretty much. They start riffing on jokes. My neighborhood's so tough. I saw a bank robber get mugged on the way to the getaway car. Oh, that's Sid's joke. Not anymore. And then they ask what his last... Yeah, he's dying. They ask him what his last words are, and Tony tells them the joke. And they go, he closed with that?
It's funny.
Yeah. So the punchline to the joke was, what do you get when you cross a line in a woodpecker? The punchline is, if it knocks on the door, don't answer. Nick loved it. Is he laughing?
I got an eyebrow raise from Phenom.
That's probably about all it's worth. But Nick's
last
loving it, man.
joke, Phenom. Show him some respect.
Yeah.
Now he laughed. There.
And then the old man just continued to riff bits, and then we cut to the nightclub door.
Yeah, I said, okay, so Nick is not going to be in the band. I said, what's going to be the thing here? Vinny's going to be in there making out with someone else. Where are we headed with here? And the doorman says they can't go in after he looks at their fake IDs that former WCW champion David Arquette made them And they don't understand. And he goes, "You can't go in because it's teen night. No one under 17 allowed." And is it Kimmy McGuire is playing? Did I read Kim McGuire? Oh, I said whoever that is. That's Stephen McGuire's dad.
They're guests of Jimmy McGuire, and he invited
Yes.
Blossom personally. And
Okay.
the bouncer's like, he invited every girl that's here right now.
Okay, well, Jimmy McGuire is clearly Stephen McGuire's dad, and that is a Saskatoon joke. Remember Stephen McGuire?
I do remember
Local
Stephen McGuire.
singer-songwriter, Stephen McGuire.
Great dude, man. Shout out to him.
Shout out to Stephen McGuire.
Yeah,
Fellow good Irish boy.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they find out that Jimmy McGuire invited every girl that's there tonight. So
Oh, yeah.
then, as they're walking away, Blossom asks two girls in line if Jimmy invited them. They say yes. And she's like, "Oh, here, you can use these IDs to get in." And then they walk away.
Did we talk
But,
about
like,
how Jimmy McGuire is inviting all these underage girls to his show?
Yeah. Yeah, which is also
Because clearly he was old enough to play the bar. Like, we're just going to ignore
like,
this, the darkness of this
weird. Yeah.
storyline.
But, like,
is
wouldn't
he's
their
cle-
fake IDs have their pictures on them? So, like, if they gave them to those girls, they would not work at all.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it's okay. This
I'm asking too many questions.
all continuity and sense is in that casket beside the dead comedian for this episode.
Yeah. So back at the house, the three old comedians are still doing bits, and the crowd is eating this up.
Oh man! And then
Yeah.
Sal,
Oh,
they
this
asked
just-
Nick to sing
they
Irish
just-
Eyes.
this just touched
And
your
being
heart.
of hardcore Irish descent like myself, my eyes water. What a beautiful anthem of my homeland, Sal. Paradise where hardworking people with good souls like myself and Arlene McCafferty can call their own.
There you go, man. So they say that somebody has to sing when Irish eyes are smiling. Then they all get drunk and forget who died.
The Irish way.
Yeah.
I get drunk
So
and forget
Nick's-
who's alive.
Yeah. Nick starts to sing, and it's like, holy crap, he's actually pretty good.
And I said,
And
well, if this
then-
isn't his Tatiana Ali moment, where for no reason we're going to showcase Nick singing because his agent's trying to get him more work outside of Blossom. Look, he's a triple threat. He can sing, he can act, he can dance. Triple threat. What's his name again? His real name?
Ted
Weiss?
Wass?
Weiss?
Ted
Yeah.
Wass. Yeah.
Hopefully this led to something because he killed it. Like, to be honest, he did a really
I
good
think
job of
he's-
it.
I think he's like a like steadily working sitcom director.
Yeah.
He like went on to, I think
They
he's
can't-
still probably
They can't let
working,
the
maybe.
Irish have it, man. They can't let him have it, Sal. So he finishes this beautiful rendition, and it cuts to the black guy who says, "You white people sure can sing."
And that's the end of the episode.
Don Rio's like, Corel draw overlay. Boom! You did
Love
it
it.
again,
Love
kid. You
it.
did it again. Schmuck, assistant writer again. We see during credits.
Love
Oh
the
no,
schmuck.
there is a closing credit.
There
scene.
is
I
a
suppose-
post-credit
yeah.
scene in this one. Yeah.
Joey comes home and opens the casket.
Whoa,
He
a
thought
new
it was
freezer.
he thought it was a fridge or something.
Yeah, he goes,
I don't know.
"Whoa, a new freezer," and you know exactly where this is going. He opens the casket in the dark, looks directly into the camera,
snaps,
and screams.
zooms into his face.
Yeah. And that's the end of the episode.
What did Joey do this whole episode? Like, he wasn't in it at all, was he? He was at the very beginning and
No.
the very end. Poor guy.
Yep.
I like this episode.
His week off.
I like this episode, Sal.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It had some weird continuity moments, like Blossom just suddenly wanting to cheat on Vinny. But other than that, yeah, the old comedian was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he was supposed to be someone famous. I don't know if any of those guys were supposed to be someone famous.
We'll get into it. Do you want my today's lesson before we go to
Let's
the tip
hear it.
characters? Okay.
Let's hear the lesson.
Cheating means very different things to very different people. However, if you're in a relationship where one of you thinks going to a concert where the musician is of the other sex, you think that's cheating, you need to not be in a relationship. You need to go be somewhere alone for the rest of your natural life. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. And also, when I
That
was
was like a
making fun
Jack
of
Handy right there.
when I was making fun of Stevie Wonder being blind, do you remember the Ray Charles Pepsi ad campaign? You remember that in the
Yeah.
90s?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
This was like the most 90s joke going through the playground when I was little. Did you hear Ray Charles got into an accident and the doctor said, I have good news and bad news. And he said, what's the bad news? And the doctor said, you lost your left testicle. He said, what's the good news? He goes, you got the right one, baby.
Was it necessary to do like the as you're
So
doing
you know it was Ray Charles.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Phenom, that was the slogan that would not go away. It was every third commercial. It was Pepsi, and it was Ray Charles going, you got the right one, baby.
True story.
Yeah. And if the viewers were blind, not Ray Charles, you would think that was Ray Charles here, because that was an impeccable. You got the right one. That's exactly what he sounds like.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Ray
I think
Charles.
you're doing
We
Louis
lost him, didn't we?
Armstrong, actually.
What? He's got to be gone. Phenom is Ray Charles dead. There's no way.
I think
still
Ray
alive.
Charles is dead.
That's the Ray Charles testicle joke. That was hilarious. 1992. Actually, I think it was
That's a good
1991.
He died
Wow.
2004.
There you go. See,
Oh, okay.
I recently upload like old commercials and everything else to my YouTube channel, and I found a tape. Someone gave me a VHS tape from 1991. That's why I know, because I've been going through and uploading the commercials from 1991, and every third one is Ray Charles and Pepsi going, "You got the right one, baby." Uh-huh.
Did you upload that one?
I sure did. I should
Nice.
have told the joke. It should have started with me telling the joke. Maybe I'll cut it together. Anyway,
Yeah, it's too late. All right.
Speaking
Should
of
we
the
go to the
pit,
pit?
let's go.
Let's go to the pit. Bernie Allen played Sid, and he is in the pit. He died
Who's
in
Bernie Allen?
2004. He died in 2004, the same year as Ray Charles.
Maybe they took each other out.
Maybe.
They're up on the bridge in the rain. It ends here. It ends here. And Ray Charles had his back turned. I'm taking you out, boy.
Bernie Allen was Sid. He the comedian that
Okay.
died in the show. He also played a comedian in Raging Bull. He acted in Blossom in 1992, and then his next project wasn't until 2004.
Wow,
He was in a movie called Bad Meat,
Yeah,
and then he died.
yeah.
There's no Wikipedia page for him, so I couldn't really look him up. There's a baseball player. There's a baseball player.
You're saying
named
I have
Bernie
a
Allen.
Wikipedia page and he doesn't. Oh no, I have an IMDb
Correct.
page. Never mind.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah. There's a baseball player named Bernie Allen, and that was the only Bernie Allen I could find on Wikipedia. David Arquette
Hell
played
yeah.
David Slackmeyer,
Oh my
also
God.
in the pit.
Really? I figured he'd probably come back, but I guess not. Hey.
Yeah, I don't know. He was like, he would have been famous by then, wouldn't he? 1992? Maybe not.
What would you have done?
Maybe just starting out. I don't know.
Honestly, dude, watch that documentary. Like, I really didn't.
I
know
guess
about his
Scream
early
wasn't
career,
until like 3 years later. So,
but like, it's fascinating because like, sorry to press pause on this. He was on this like Vanity Fair cover with like Leonardo DiCaprio and like all these other A-list Hollywood millionaires that went on to be like the cream of the crop when it came to like Hollywood lead actors, and he's the only one in that like group of 5 on that cover that like didn't make it.
wow.
Like he was at one point like running alongside Leonardo DiCaprio in Hollywood because it was like I was like, these 5 or 6 guys are gonna be the people, and that was like in like the mid '90s before Titanic and all that. And he just got obsessed with pro wrestling. His life went to relatable.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can relate to that. Jack Carter, Bill Dana, and Slappy White were all themselves.
Can that be my nickname from now on? Can I be Slappy White?
Sure.
I feel like that's what people call me behind my back anyway. So
all in the pit, obviously. Rex Ryan was the bouncer, and he appeared in season 1, episode 9 as Cop, and now he is officially in the pit. He does not come back, and that's all we got for this week. Guess so. All right, man. That's all I got. That's all my notes for this
Put
week.
a bow on this one.
Next week, season 3, episode 8, I Killed Chico Barranca.
best episode
I'm
title
so excited.
ever.
Oh
my God. It's gonna be a good one.